and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a film from 2014. That movie is Dark Dungeons. And Dark Dungeons, as it claims on the cover here, is based on the graphic novel. That is a terrible exaggeration on the term graphic novel. This thing here is based on a 13-page Christian pamphlet about the size of a pocket note, book, and it is one of the most infamous little Christian pamphlet comics written by a man named Jack Chick. And if you're really curious, you actually can read the book online. Chick actually has all of his little tract pamphlet thingamajigs on his website for free for you to read. You can totally do that and get a ton of laughs out of it. But one of his most infamous ones was one he wrote in the early '80s called Dark Dungeons, which was a piece slamming all things related to or similar to Dungeons and Dragons. And many decades later, somebody decided to take that book and make a movie out of it. Now, this thing is only 40 minutes long, which means good news, at least it's kind of short. And from what I have been told, the people making this are making it specifically solely to mock how poorly written the little book was. Which, trust me, that one there was terribly fucking written. I think I've read that one at least 5 times specifically to fucking laugh at it. Now, I get to see if that thing translates into a halfway decent movie. I'm certainly hoping so. And the only way that I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Dark Dungeons. So, the opening credits show dice being rolled through what I'm guessing is supposed to be blood, but looks far more like red paint. And that little opening prologue was probably the funniest goddamn thing I've seen in a long time. Guys, I really think I am in for something awesome here. So the role-playing club in this college are not only too popular for them to get booted off campus, but all of them are leather fucking jacket-wearing tough guys who apparently strike fear and terror into the hearts of this entire campus. My God, that is fucking awesome. Okay, that was kind of interesting. Now suddenly I kind of wish that I could. I sort of kind of wish that I could get with a group and roleplay in front of a large crowd. That just seems kind of fun, really.
Refugees are a far-out game. Spells, poison.
Oh my God, are they quoting Mazes and Monsters?
Yeah, but it's all imagination.
Sweet fuck, they did! Oh my God! Yes, that is fucking awesome, dude! Oh my God, and Marcy's suicide. Oh my God, and she even fucking printed off the suicide note so it looks exactly like it did in the book. Holy shit! And the whole thing is just as cheesy as it was in the fucking book. I am absolutely loving this, guys.
Occult books, including those by C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien.
But wait a minute, but C.S. fucking Lewis was a Christian. All of C.S. Lewis's books had a deep Christian message. Why would those be considered occult and evil? Oh, because it's a story by Jack fucking Chick, so of course it's evil. How stupid of me. Well, guys, that was Dark Dungeons. Let's shut that off. Holy shit. Okay. You know, when I went into this, I looked at the runtime. I saw this thing is 40 minutes long. It is based on, and I actually checked the page count as I was watching the movie. It is a 21-page book. Again, pages about yay big. It is a 21-page tract I had no idea they were going to be able to flesh it out that much and make it kind of work. Allow me to explain. Let's start with writing. We have to start with the source. Because I'm going to tell you guys, if you've ever sat down and read anything written by Jack Chick, you know full well that he writes some of the worst Christian propaganda the world's ever seen. The man does not know how to write decent, dialogue. He does not know how to write an interesting story. And you can tell when they are directly quoting stuff from his little rag, because all of a sudden the dialogue loses all of its life and all of its spirit. Now that though is totally understandable, because going into a movie based on dark dungeons, I would have been disappointed if it didn't feature actual dialogue that was in that god-awful book. So frankly, whenever I hit those, whenever I hit those points in the movie, I couldn't stop fucking laughing. I absolutely loved it. And the stuff that is new, the stuff that's written to flesh it out, oh my god. So, our writers were trying to go for something as cheesy and as corny as possible, trying to match the dialogue written by Jack Chick. And I'm going to tell you right now, nobody can write dialogue that fucking bad. And in terms of writing dialogue that is that wooden and lifeless, our writers here kind of failed. But in trying to do that, they have written some cornball dialogue that as long as you're willing to go into this thing and laugh, my god, it is fucking funny as hell, especially if you have any level of knowledge pertaining to role-playing games and role-playing culture and all that kind of fun shit. Then all of this is even funnier, especially when this movie decides to go somewhere that Chick never went, if memory serves. It's been a long time since I actually sat down and read the Dark Dungeons book. But this thing goes into LARPing, and that immediately brings back memories of Mazes and Monsters, except this is even funnier. I was still stunned at the fact that they actually lifted a line of dialogue directly from Mazes and Monsters, and my god, that was fucking awesome. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, writing here is going to be absolutely hilarious if you know anything about role-playing games. If you know anything about grabbing a bag of dice and a pencil and some paper and just hanging out with friends and just having fun. If you have any kind of experience with any of that, you are going to absolutely adore this thing, because it is so cheesy, it is so stupid, but every line of dialogue also just screams absolute love for actual role players, by basically taking the plot of the book and making it even more so, making it even preachier, making it even dumber, making this game out to seem like probably the worst role-playing game of all time, because apparently things just sort of happen at random without you having to roll dice, which seems a little odd unless it is a diceless system, which it's not, because everybody's got mountains of fucking dice. Anyway, that's just me whinging on about, exactly how the game itself is played, which you shouldn't have to worry about. You really don't see a lot of gameplay in this. Anyway, but yeah, writing here is funny as hell, as long, again, as you're into role-playing games. The acting. Every single member of the cast knew that they were going to be picking on one of the most infamous comics ever penned. So they went into this thing, and you can tell that the entire cast is having a fucking blast. You can tell that they are having more fun than they really should making this thing. And it really does add a whole lot of charm as they are trying to ham up every line of dialogue, and they're hamming it up perfectly, where it honestly kind of complements the oddball, goofy, corny fucking dialogue. You actually do want to ham up this. And that, guys, I think is what saves this thing, is you know, is that people honestly could have gone in and they could have made a Dark Dungeons film, and they could have just made it a hollow parody of the shit that Chick has written. And yes, a lot of this stuff is parodying the work of Jack Chick, but it honestly isn't a hollow parody. There actually is a lot of depth in there. And the writing really helps that, and the acting helps to punctuate it. Now, I know that this film was made for almost nothing, so that actually means that it is almost kind of sort of a miracle that we have sets which look as awesome as they do. Especially the role-playing pit that everybody plays in, where everything has these really beautifully decorated shrouds, and there's fucking like candles everywhere, and everything just looks so classy, and it looks classier than I think any role player has ever played in. But I would love to actually play in something like that, especially since the first time we see them, they also have a crowd of about 75 people who were there partying, and were apparently there not only to party, but to then watch this group play Dark Dungeons as opposed to playing it themselves, which, again, still, lots of fun there. It was a cool fucking thing. Now, my God. So yes, that's your good special effects. There's not much here in terms of special effects. The only things I can think of immediately off the top of my head, at one point, our main character, Elf Star, I'm just going to use her fucking role-playing name for this because she was in character at the time. She casts magic fucking missile, and it looks kind of sort of cool. And then she fights against this giant puppet demon thing, which looks just laughably stupid. We have one major CG shot, and it is a shot of Cthulhu that lasts maybe 2 seconds. It looks awful, but goddamn it, you are going to be too busy laughing to care. CG here, little is here, and there actually are like maybe one, possibly two other shots, are done at least passably well. And they would probably be considered shit if this movie had any kind of a budget to speak of. But considering the fact that it was made for almost nothing, it really is just awesome that they were able to make stuff that looked at least halfway decent. Our music here is really fitting. Our camera work is good. Our lighting is good. Color work here is good. Guys, everything about this movie works, which is why, again, as long as you are a fan of role-playing games, or if you've read Dark Dungeons and have laughed your ass off at it, I can definitely recommend the fucking movie. And it's totally worth, watching, and if I'm not mistaken, the people who made the movie might actually have it on fucking YouTube. So by all means, guys, search for it. You have to see this thing. It is so cheesy. It is so corny, but it's so lovably cheesy and corny that you are probably going to love every second of it. The movie is that fucking good. Now, Dark Dungeons came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was Steven, and you can find his YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/RoxasXDarknessX. Steven, I thank you. I really wanted to watch this ever since I heard somebody made a movie based on Dark Dungeons, which honestly has not been long considering the fact that this thing was made last year. But still, I have been absolutely psyched, and the moment that I saw it in my fucking mailbox, I was absolutely overjoyed. And when I found a spot in the schedule to put it in, I was even happier. And now that I've had a chance to watch it, I am probably about as giddy as I'm going to be all fucking year, and I thank you for that. This thing was amazingly cheesy, but I loved every second of it. Now, after watching this, I actually kind of want to read over. I want to read over my D&D. I want to read over my D&D manuals again. Perhaps maybe I will write a fucking campaign, and I'll try to get a couple of friends, together and play, through it. Hopefully. But first, I have to reread the manuals. I am ridiculously rusty in the inner workings of Dungeons & Dragons. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.